Good afternoon, Floss Tube friends. This is Lisa with Lady Huzzah Presents on Floss Tube, Lady Huzzah on Instagram. So, is everybody getting ready for Christmas and the holidays? I know I sure am, and I just wanted to stop by today to share a little bit of my Christmases, past and present, with you. So, anyway, these glasses are kind of fun, but I'll be much better without them. So, welcome everyone to my Floss Tube. Thank you for returning subscribers, and I wish to welcome any new viewers that I may have. Well, this has been a busy fall, and it's hard to believe that we are already into the Christmas season, less than 2 weeks away until Christmas. Kind of hard to believe that it's come around so quickly, but I've always loved the Christmas season, and today I plan on sharing with you some of my old tried and true decorations that I love to pull out every year, as well as ornaments that I have stitched for my children, my son and daughter, over the years. I've stitched an ornament for them every year since they have been born. Actually, I've missed a few years, but that was just due to situations that did not lend to, adequate stitching time. But I do fully plan on intend on creating an ornament for them at some point. I know that I have taken down notes of the type of ornament that I would have liked to stitch them that year, and some of them actually are in progress. But anyway, just to wrap up this year a little bit, I have had 54 finishes. I am thrilled that I have had 54 finishes this year. So, some are little, some are big, but hey, a finish is a finish. I have also participated in WhipGo for my first year, and I'm deciding whether I will do it again next year. I think I will, and just tweak things a little bit. Since it was my first year, I was still trying to figure out the best stitching plan for me. Some months I was very successful, finished my WhipGo, that was assigned for that month, selected for that month. Then once the summer hit, the end of summer, I was stitching on my Christmas exchanges and Christmas ornaments for my kids, and my WhipGo just really slacked off at that point. So I'll see how I can improve upon it for next year. I do have a WhipGo finish that I would love to share with you. It was a very emotional one for me, and those of you that have been following me know. It is this eye stitch band. Let me pin that up there again. On the spool, it was an eye stitch band. I decorated the top with a earring. Actually, it was an earring that I took the hanger off of and glued it on there. But this eye stitch band, anyone who has been following me knows how this was an emotional roller coaster for me. This eye stitch band was from 2021, and it was an Advent stitch. And each day from December 1st to the 24th, you were emailed a little piece of this, one little segment to do. Well, I had stitched as far as around the 7th of December, and then my mom fell very ill, and I just did not have the concentration to stitch on something that was so small. This is over one strand over one on, I believe it's a 26 or 27 count linen banding. So in 2021, my mom did pass on the 21st of December, and then the following year and the year after that, I just could not bring myself to stitch on it. It just brought me too much sadness to finish working on it. So I put it in my WhipGo for 2024. And when it popped up on the WhipGo board, it was late spring or summer, and it had nothing to do with anniversary dates, birthdays, anything like that. So I pulled it out to work on it. And I got quite a bit done in that WhipGo month. Here, let me see if I can show you the whole thing. I got quite a bit done on that WhipGo month. And it still wasn't finished though. So this past fall, my friend Shelly Fry of Antique Needleworkers mentioned that she was going to be stitching on this. And I said, oh, I'll finish it with you. So I did. I went forth and finished this. And it's just the sweetest band. And I was able to line the back. Here, let me show you the rest of this. There we go. And I just wrapped it around the spool. I did line the back of it. And I was just so thrilled to be able to get this finished because it's just a cute little piece. It's a tribute to my mother. And I finally, emotionally found myself able to stitch it. So stitching this was a huge success for me this year. I hold it closed with this little Santa hat pin. So I was really happy with doing the WhipGo this year for that reason. All right, so also recently in beginning of November, my husband and I went down to up to Ocean City, Maryland, Berlin area for the weekend, and I took a little felting class at Salty Yarns. So it was a needle felting class, and we made these little Rudolphs. So cute, and it was so fun to do. And if you've never visited Salty Yarns, that is a destination shop in Berlin, Maryland. And the shop is just chock full of everything stitching. And it's a wonderful place to visit, and I'm sure you'll find treasures there. So they had this felting class there, and it was really enjoyable. I had done flat needle felting before, but had not made 3D needle felting. So it was really enjoyable, and now I'm off to yet a new hobby. Last year, I did have a needle felting advent calendar that also created three-dimensional objects, but didn't get to it. All right. Well, talking about Advent, I love Advent calendars. This year, my husband and I had a little coffee pod Advent calendar, and we also had a small wine bottle Advent calendar. And that was it's been a lot of fun. We're still opening our little doors and sections every day, which is fun. But I also enjoyed doing an Advent with my friend Sylvia from Running with Needles and Scissors. We have done an Advent for the last few years with each other, creating a basket of gifts to open until the 24th of December. And then this year we added our friend Miriam into our Advent. So what we did is I did the odd numbers for both Miriam and Sylvia, and Miriam did the even numbers for Sylvia and myself, and then Sylvia did the odds for me and the evens for Miriam. I believe that's how it worked out. But let me show you a little bit of our Advent. So this is what we did. This is my basket from Sylvia. She gave me this basket last year. And then she has all these gifts in here that are numbered for each day, for the odd number days for me to open. So this is really fun. And then I save the little bags for next year so she can fill them up again. So this is my basket from Sylvia. And we try not to go crazy with things, although sometimes that's difficult. Here, let me put that down there. And this is my basket from Miriam. And Miriam is Riley Road on Instagram. So this is really a lot of fun. So what we do is we select a gift for the person for the days of Advent that we're covering, and we can pull from stash, we can pull from thrifting, we can buy new things, we can make something. Anything goes. You can just select a little gift that's personal to that person, and it makes the Advent season really a lot of fun. There's so many places that do Advent calendars right now, and it really helps to add to the anticipation and the excitement of the season. So I've been doing that, And then also my friend Stacy and I got together a week ago to celebrate both her birthday and do our Christmas exchanges for each other. So I'll show you what Stacy gifted me this year. She gifted me this vintage, it's from a spoon or a fork, and it's a little fob or a keychain, and it has my L initial engraved on there. You know, I'm really thinking about just making this into a pendant on kind of a long chain, but I haven't decided yet. So she gifted me that. She also gifted me this adorable little stitching set. Look at this. It comes in a case that matches. Now, I have never seen these before, but they were from the Pioneer Woman. And actually, it says it's from Walmart.com. So if any of you want to look for this, I don't know if it's something that was once available or is still available. But Stacy actually told me that she found these on the secondary market. But it's really super cute and will be fun to add to my stitching treasures. Actually, I think I might pull it out around the patriotic holidays because even though it doesn't scream patriotic, there is a lot of red and blue in there. And then Stacy stitched for me this adorable, I think she said it was Prairie Schooler, this adorable reindeer that she then mounted on a little board. We try to get together, about once a month, sometimes more, sometimes less, but we try to have stitching days together, which is always a great time. Doesn't stitching with your friends just really, oh my gosh, it just really warms your heart and makes for a great day. There's something about stitchers and the connection that they have, that they just all speak the same language, and it's just a great time all around. All right, so I do have, I will say I do have a giveaway for this floss tube. What I'm doing is I will be giving away 2 previous giveaways that I have talked about a couple times that have still never been claimed. So later on in the video, I will mention the keyword that you have to use in your comments. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. And you know, as all of them, don't mention prize, raffle, you know, because that just attracts trolls, and then people are trying to win prizes that they don't really deserve. They're not really floss tube viewers. So in your comment, like I said, you'll like and subscribe, and in your comment, you will leave a comment of the 2 keywords I give you. But I will give you a little sneak peek of what I am giving away this time. One of them is a Blackbird design book. And this was originally to be given away when I did my Blackbird design floss tube a few floss tubes back. So you'll get this. You will get some Blackbird design floss drops that I made. And you will get some little sleeves to attach to the back of your stitching where you can put information about that piece that is stitched. So this is all one of the giveaways. And then the other one is this beautiful project bag by my friend Karen House Connect, and her name, she uses Nana K, and this is her contact information. But Karen makes beautiful things for stitchers. I first met her at Stitch Away last year in Ohio, but I know that she has sold things at StitchCon and other stitching events and retreats and, you know, just vending events. But this is a beautiful project bag. Karen is an amazing sewer. She has a little clip on the inside here that you can put a floss ring or something on that, or your scissors. She just does an amazing job at sewing. So these will be my 2 giveaways for this video, and I will make sure that I give you the keywords later on before we close out. All right, so some of my Christmas stitches from past years. These are just some of my favorites. I have many, many, many designs that I have stitched over my 50 some years of stitching. But this first one, was called Cookie Exchange. And this is from Hands On Design. And these are things you might want to look for sometimes when you're looking to do special things for holidays or whatever. A few years ago, Kathy Haberman advertised that she was doing called the Cookie Exchange. And I forget whether it came out weekly or a couple times during 1 week, but you signed up for it and they told you the supply list, and then each portion of this stitched piece was released. And so then it was kind of like a mystery stitch so that you could stitch along and then create this little board. And it was really a lot of fun to stitch. And then up top here, this was just something I had in my stash, this little gingerbread guy. He's made out of like Fimo clay kind of thing. Maybe not exactly Fimo clay, but that type of clay. And he was actually a gift tag. But it was just something I had in my stash that I just knew I would use someday. And here it is. But this was called Cookie Exchange. And then this is another one of my all-time favorites. This was a You and I and Friends piece. This little chubby Santa here is a stand-up that I stitched and finished myself. And he is just one of my Christmas favorites that I always pull out every year. I believe this was a limited edition chart. But sometimes things like this show up on the secondary market. His beard is woolly, really cute. Let me see if I have a date on here of when I stitched him. Unfortunately, I don't, but it was a long time ago. Super cute. Then there was another You and I and Friends piece that I did, and I think this was another limited edition. But this little guy has a bent, metal hanger that I painted some wooden stars that went on there. There you can see them a little bit better. But this is another one of my Christmas favorites that I just love to display around the holidays. Okay, moving along here. This one just shows a way that you can finish things that are not necessarily the intended finish. This little stocking that says Santa's Fill is actually, I believe it's still available. It's from Shepherd's Bush. It's one of their shop exclusive kits. Now they have theirs framed. And actually I did stitch him once to frame. And then I stitched him and made him into a little bag. And this little ornament, this was an ornament, isn't they cute, that I found, I think at Joann's one year. But I just thought he really picked up the feel of this little bag. And so he lives in there, and I hang him on the back of my front door every year. So keeping in this same feel of this little bag, this year, now that my gifts have been received, I can show you this. This is Sinterklaas from Not Forgotten Farms. I made one of these for my friend Stacy for Christmas or for her birthday. And I also did one for an exchange, and that gift has already been received and opened a few weeks ago. So here it is. So this Sinterklaas, I finished in the same way of this bag. And how I kept the handle kind of gathered here is that inside is a piece of twine, or actually it's not twine, it's a nylon cording. And then I just made the fabric covering for it much longer so that when I pushed it up, it just stayed in place. But these were a lot of fun to make, and I filled it with some woolly greenery. These were just little wool strips. I learned how to do these when I made my woolly tree from Attic Heirlooms, and actually used some of the extra wool from that to make the greens for this bag. So these were super fun to do too. And this is my newest addition to my holiday decor in my house. Now, speaking of the woolly tree, this is very exciting. No, I have not gotten all of my ornaments completed for my woolly tree, but I do have a lot of them cut out and ready to be finished. So this is my woolly tree that I showed you earlier this year from Trish Harriman of Attic Heirlooms. She has, you can find her on Attic Heirlooms website. And then there is a stitch along with Attic Heirlooms on Facebook. And that is a really fun group to join if you are making up any of the Attic Heirlooms designs. It might have been my last floss tube, I showed a woolly autumn tree that I did that had little acorns on it that were little tufted with fabrics. So here's my Christmas one. This was a stitch along for this year. You first created the tree, and then each month you could either download the pattern free for that month, or you could sign up to receive the kits from Attic Heirlooms, which I did. It was perfect to get that little gift to myself in the mail every month to make the ornaments that were featured that month. So this is a little orange slice. We did this garland one month. Here's another little blue ornament. I do have a few little mittens on this that were not part of the monthly kits, but a friend of mine gifted them to me, so I decided to add them to my tree as well. So exciting news. If you are looking to do a stitch along or venture into wool applique or wool crafting, Trish Harriman will be launching a new stitch along for 2025. And again, it'll work the same way, that the pattern is free if you download it that month. Otherwise, you can purchase the pattern from her after that, or purchase the whole kit. So I just can't wait to see what she comes out with, because I'm anxious to participate in that again next year. Super fun. Again, that was Attic Heirlooms website, or you can look up Stitch Along with Attic Heirlooms on Facebook. So that'll be coming out soon, so just be aware to that. Hey, it's always fun to enable each other, right? All right, some more of my old finishes. This one was from Heartstring Samplery. Love and Joy Come to You. And I just stitched this and then hung some little charms. And this was a little crystal pendant, heart pendant, that was my mom's, that I just hung that on there. I've stuffed it with the blizzard litter, the walnut shells, and this is the backing. Really fun. I love having this for whatever reason. This just messages me. Love and joy come to you. Everybody needs that. All right, so it's a couple more of my previous finishes. I know I've showed this before, but I wanted to say something else about this. This was a Barbara Anna design, and it was called, I think, Santa's Travels, Santa's Journeys. But anyway, I did it as one piece, and this was another thing that came out in installments. I did it as she had intended, but I have recently seen that someone on Facebook, one of the Facebook groups or Instagram, finished these little motifs as individual little pillows, and they are just adorable. Super cute, that I might pull out my pattern again and possibly stitch some of these as just individual ornaments for next year, or I might just jump in and do them all as pillows again. It was really fun. This was framed by Jill Rensel in Ogden, Utah. Okay, we always keep enabling each other, right? So one of my last finishes that are my treasures for Christmas every year. This is, I'm getting a little bit of glare there. This is a Yuletide Welcome, and this is by Plum Street Samplers, and I absolutely love this. I took this as a class a number of years ago at Shepherd's Bush, at the Shepherd's Bush retreat. Paulette was a featured designer there, one of the teachers, and it was a Christmas theme that year for the retreat. So this chart was premiered there at the Shepherd's Bush Retreat. And I just love it. I just love it. I will say that in the house, yes, in the house, I made a mistake that I was not about to tear out. My upper row of windows is shorter. They're only 2 panes high, whereas the lower windows are 3 panes high. And I made a mistake and I only made them 2 panes high. Well, I will say that instead of tearing all of that out, who wants to frog all of that? It gave me room at the top where I was able to insert the year that I stitched it. So I made lemonade out of lemons because I was not about to pull out all those stitches and fix that house. Okay, let's see here. One thing I wanted to say is I absolutely love meeting some of you at the new cross stitch shop in Williamsburg. It's called Liberty Hill Needleworks, and it's owned by Susan McKenzie. And I help out there a couple times a month. And it is so great because people will come in sometimes and they're like, oh, Lady Huzzah, we know you. And we just start chatting, stitching together. And people will tell me about some of the UFOs that I have, our whips that they're also working on. And then they'll also, tell their husband, this is my enabler. And it's just really fun. So I do enjoy meeting some of you at Liberty Hill. If you are ever in the Williamsburg, Virginia area, you need to stop at Liberty Hill. They are open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 5 during the week, 10 to 7 on Sundays, and on Wednesdays, they have a stitch group. You can come open stitching on Wednesdays, so they are open 10 to 7 on Wednesdays and 10 to 4 on Saturdays. And they are closed on Sundays and Mondays. But I will mention, Susan may not like me mentioning this, but if you know you will be in the area on a day that it's closed, never hurts to reach out to Susan because sometimes she is at the shop doing things on those days and she is so welcoming, so it's just hit or miss whether that just happens to be a day that she will be there. But she is always so welcoming of stitchers from all over the place. And the shop is really quite amazing. They have been open now just over a year. And it is such a warm, welcoming, friendly shop, chock full of stitching. She's also starting to stock more needle punch and hopes to offer classes of needle punch and other classes, next year. So stay tuned. But again, if you are ever in the Williamsburg, Virginia area, please check out Liberty Hill Needleworks. It's really just an amazing place. All right. So what I have to show you now are the ornaments that I have stitched for my kids over the years. When I pulled these out, it was really a wonderful walk down memory lane to have these ornaments out again. We're really excited for Christmas this year. Last year, our daughter who lives in Germany was unable to come home, but this year we'll all be together, which we're really excited about that. So there's a lot of Christmas prep going on here, and we just can't wait to have our son and our daughter, to celebrate Christmas with this year. So I will show you the ornaments that I have made for them over the years. So back when they were born, I purchased one of these paper covered hat boxes. And at the time, it seemed really huge to house the ornaments, especially since I was making them one a year. So the first year my daughter was born, there was just one ornament in here. And then over the years, it's amazing to see how it is filled up. Like I said, I don't have all of the ornaments. There's a few years that I did miss just due to stuff going on, good things, bad things, but just too busy that year to finish their ornaments. And then now in the last few years, they have those ornaments at their own homes. So I have them up to a point, and one of these years, I'll give them their whole box. you know, my son lives in a very small apartment in New York, and my daughter, you know, it would be a lot to haul this to Germany or for her to haul back when she's home. So anyway, but those are the ornaments. I will show you. Some years I have 2 ornaments for them, and because I did one kind of the same but different. Then other years I have the same ornament. So those years I'll just show one. Okay, so this is the first one that I did in 1992 for my daughter. This was from, I believe, a Leisure Arts book. And so here's little baby in the manger. So that year we had our baby. And on the back, I personalized it for her. And I said, "For unto us a child is born." And I put her name, Erin Lynn Duffin, first Christmas, 1992. So then, her following Christmas, in 1993, I stitched her this little bear, Waiting for Christmas. Again, I believe this was from a Leisure Arts book that I had. And again, on the back, I personalized it to Erin Lynn, Love Mommy, 1993. All right. So then 1994 rolls around, and I stitched her this roly-poly Santa. Again, I believe it was from this same Leisure Arts book of ornaments that I had. So I just finished it with some of the bells. Oh, this is a little bow that has come undone. Let's see here, I'll fix it. There we go. So there's her roly-poly Santa. So in 1994 then, she had a new little brother. So I wanted to keep the theme of her first ornament to follow through with the theme of my son's first ornament. So here they were both out of the same book. And on his, there it shows Mary and Joseph with the baby in the manger, with baby Jesus. And on the back, I stitched, "And his name shall be called," that from the Messiah, Ryan Alexander Duffin, first Christmas, 1994. You know, over the years, these have turned into such treasures for me to have for them. And still, my kids are now 30 and 32, and every year they look forward to what ornament I'm going to show up with that year. All right, so then after that, 1995, these are Cricut collection. I stitched the moon for my daughter, filled with greenery, and I stitched the snowman for my son. And if you can, always take the time to personalize it. Number one, it makes them easy to find, to put back into their box on the Christmas tree. But over the years, it just adds so much to it if you know when you've stitched these. So these were little Cricut collection mittens that I did finish like a mitten, like a little mitten stocking. I believe these patterns are still available. Don't know for sure, but okay. So in 1996, they each got a Mickey Mouse, Mickey or Minnie. The little Mickey was for my son, and the Minnie was for my daughter. Now these, I believe, were a Disney chart from Busilla maybe. But these were really fun to do, and I finished these like a little double-sided, double-faced mount. The back has just some festive fabric on the back. They both have the same. And then on my daughter's Minnie Mouse, I put some red bow buttons. And then my son has some hearts on his. These were fun to do. Well, you know, they all are. And honestly, ornaments are kind of tricky because they're small, yes, but some of them have so much stitching in them. All right, so moving along to 1997. This was a Told in a Garden angel pattern. This pattern came with a number of angels in it. So I stitched that for my daughter, and then on the bottom, I attached a tiny little wooden nativity. It was actually a little shank button, nativity shank button that I just clipped off the shank. and put that on for her. And then I did this giraffe putting a star on a Christmas tree. I did this for my son that year. Just trimmed it off with some bells on the bow. So there was Ryan's for that year. Okay, then all right, I missed the following year, but then in 1999, I stitched these for both kids. My daughter had a puppy opening a package, and then my son had the mouse with a candy cane. And I noticed that here I did that same little technique that I explained on the bags, that there's a piece of like a nylon cording, a nylon twine in there that I just had the outside covering kind of gathered up. I do remember why I stitched the dog for my daughter that year. One time at dinner, my husband was remarking on how much milk my kids were drinking, which they used to really promote drinking a lot of milk. And he used to say, well, with all the milk that we drink here, we really should buy a cow. So our daughter then chimed in with, Daddy, after we buy our cow, can we get a puppy? So that's what I had stitched that for her that year. So that was 1999. For 2000, I did a shepherd's bush design, and their design that year said 2,000 years ago, and I stitched this same one for both of my kids. Kind of finished it with different colors of kind of primitive fabric there. Kind of gives it a little bit of a log cabin quilt kind of feel. And so this was for both of them for 2000. Okay. This was for, I guess 2001 might be a year that I missed. This one, A Cookie for Santa. This was from the Just Cross Stitch Ornament magazine. And it was a chocolate chip cookie. And here I can show you, I forget, these chocolate chips are raised. And then I did the back, Ryan, 2002. I forget what fiber these chocolate chips were stitched with, but it was kind of like a Rhodes stitch that you did. And the fiber was kind of thick, somehow Trebizon. I don't know if that's a thread. I might be making that up. Trebizon might be a thread that was kind of thicker, but this is all stitched over one, A Cookie for Santa. And so that was a cute ornament for their gift that year. All right. This one from 2004. These were also another, I think they were Prairie Schooler or Cricket Collection. These were wool applique mittens, and then you just stitch the top, little top band. So this one here was for my daughter, Erin. And then I took some, I think it's from Rainbow Gallery. It was kind of like some suede, tiny suede ribbon that I braided it and made the hanger for this. I think that year we might have had like a $5 bill tucked inside, maybe $10 bill tucked inside for them. Just checking. No money now. So those were fun. Okay, in 2005, this was a Prairie Schooler design. These were like a series of woodland designs. I stitched these over one, and they turned out really cute, so detailed. They were probably over one on, I think, 28 count linen. And I finished these with a backstitch join. What I did is I made the front half and the back half and backstitched the whole area, and then finished them all from the front, just folded under the seam allowances, and then laced through the complementary, the coordinating, or I'm lost of a word here. I laced through the back stitches and then assembled it and then stuffed it before I closed up the hole. So this one was for my son Ryan, and this one was for Aaron for 2005. And these, I believe, are still available also. Okay, 2006, this was a fun one. It said, I love snow days, dial, and then I had a phone number on there. So at this point in my life, I was subbing in school, in my kids' school, as I didn't sub as the nurse, I subbed as a gym teacher, and I liked to sub as the music teacher. I loved subbing as the gym teacher because I had the power of the stopwatch and the whistle. So that was fun. I enjoyed seeing my kids in gym class then too, but I would take sub jobs to be like a teacher's assistant, but I also, like I said, did it as a gym teacher or the music teacher. So why I put the phone number here is that when I was subbing and it was snowy, there was a number that teachers and subs could call in, and you would have a recording like the day before as to whether or not school was going to be closed the next day. So, and it was all automated, so you didn't talk to anybody. So when it was snowing hard outside, my kids would always, they had this number memorized, and they would always call to see whether they were going to have a snow day the next day. So this was kind of fun. This is a fun finish. I made the twisted cording and put some like tinsely kind of trim in it. And I believe, again, that this tinsely thread that I twisted with the red and white, I believe that was from Rainbow Gallery also. So both kids got this ornament that year. I love snow days. Don't remember where this is from, but I think it was a Just Cross Stitch magazine. All right, and all of you know how I love Blackbird designs. So this was from their ornament, their monthly ornaments, and this just says, in the days of Auld Lang Syne, and it makes a little stocking that I did the hanger with beads, little beaded hanger, and so each one had this same one that year. Okay, let me fish out some more here. This one was from the Just Cross Stitch magazine, and this was an Advent. And this was all stitched over one, an Advent wreath. And it says, joy, love, faith, and hope. And aren't those values that we would all love to adhere to and be able to live? So each one got this same Advent ornament that year. And again, personalized on the back to Aaron, love mom, 2007. I tell you, looking through these ornaments is just bringing back so many great memories. All right, 2008 brought us Believe from Shepherd's Bush. And this was just mounted in a little tin. I don't think these little tins are available anymore, but you could certainly make these ornaments and mount them in some other way. And then on the back, I just wrote, to Aaron, love mom, 2008. And then Ryan has the same one. Just a cute little shepherd's bush design. I think these were sold originally as necklaces. In 2009, I did a famous Charles Dickens quote, God bless us everyone. And this is full coverage on this. And again, I finished this as a backstitch join. It's just a great way to get a nice crisp finish. And you finish it all from the top, no sewing machine involved. Some people don't like using a sewing machine so much, but I just love to use that finish. In fact, I used it this year for my ornaments, which I will show you. I guess I'm in danger of my kids seeing it early, but honestly, I don't really think they watch my floss tube. I think they know of my floss tube, but I don't think they watch it. Okay, so I have a few more to show. Okay, we have, this was 2011, and I believe this was either Prairie Schooler or Cricket Collection, and it was in the Ornament magazine, the Just Cross Stitch Ornament magazine. So here you have your partridge in a pear tree, and for this one, I just folded over my seam allowance and then hand stitched it to wool to back it. So this was 2011, and here I was able to tuck in there 2 ELD from LLD. All right, and then in 2012, I did these, I believe these are Prairie Schooler strawberries. So I did these for them. And then on the top, I put Made with Love, a little Made with Love charm. And so these were from 2012. All right. 2015, I did sleds, the Foxwood Crossing sleds. Now, I will tell you, these sleds I have stitched, I've talked about this before, I have stitched loads of these sleds. They're stitched on perforated paper, then you cut out around the design. I even, personalize it to each of my kids on the back with the year by stitching on the perforated paper, cutting it out, and then gluing it back to the sled. So these, I have made so many of them. They make a really nice hostess gift too. What I have done in the past is stitch one and then hang it over the neck of a bottle of wine and then give it as a hostess gift when I visit someone around the holidays. Also, they are just a perfect little stitch if you're stitching at the pool, stitching in the car, the perforated paper, it's 14 count paper. For me, I don't get motion sick stitching in the car, thankfully, if I'm stitching on something that you can easily see. And what's great about it is the perforated paper. Of course, we don't want anything to happen to our stitching, but if you're at the pool or somewhere social stitching on it and something happens to it, it's not the end of the world. So that was from 2015. So last year, so then past them, they've been on their own. My kids have graduated from college by that time, and they have their ornaments on their own trees that they've gotten since that time. Last year, I stitched, they actually had a Santa that was stitched and mounted in this, it's a little metal crown that I purchased at the Country Sampler in Spring Green. I did one for me that was a bird, but theirs were both Santas that they got last year. And these are really kind of cool because these have a clip on the bottom and they just clip to the branch of your tree. Very cool. It is kind of heavy, so having a nice sturdy branch to clip to was really nice. All right, so like I said, all the other ornaments they have at their home that I have stitched in the rest of the years. This year, being that we will be celebrating with my daughter, she's able to celebrate with us, and she lives in Germany. I decided to stitch this Erica Michaels design, Frohe Weihnachten, and that's Merry Christmas in German. So that's what I did for them this year. The Erica Michaels design is all stitched in one color, but I decided to make it a little bit more Christmassy for my taste anyway, and I used a green and a nice bold red for that. So there's my Christmas ornaments through the years that I have stitched for my kids. I'm really glad that I could share them with you today. I know a lot of people stitched ornaments for themselves, grandchildren, great-grands, their kids, and it's really just a fun tradition to have. So that I have, and I look forward to still adding to it over the years. No grandchildren for me yet, but maybe someday, maybe not. But that's just the way it is. So now moving on to other things. Have any of you done the Jingle Ball? I did the Jingle Ball this year and I absolutely loved it. It was actually the third year that I signed up for the Jingle Ball, but only really the first year that I could participate. The first year I signed up for it was the first year of the Jingle Ball, and as it turned out, I was away with friends that weekend. You might remember, if you follow Sylvia on running with needles and scissors. We did a floss tube that weekend. We had a pajama party at Hobby House in New York. And so there was really too many of us to really get on to the Jingle Ball. And we were really enjoying each other's company with our stitching and snacking and chatting and laughing that, we just didn't get to the Jingle Ball. Then last year, I had a group of friends visiting and staying with me for the weekend. There was six people staying here, and we signed up for the Jingle Ball. But again, we just had a lot of good quality time together that we didn't really spend too much time exploring the Jingle Ball. Well, this year, I was here by myself, and I totally loved the Jingle Ball. It was like a whole weekend from Friday to Sunday of all little festive activities. Now, I was able to download the PDF of one of the classes that I signed up for, and then the other class, I was able to get the kit. They were supposed to be finishing classes. I knew straight out that I would not have the pieces stitched for the Jingle Ball, but I did tune in and listen to the finishing for them so that when the time does come that I can, adequately accomplish that. So I will show you my Jingle Ball classes. And if you haven't done the Jingle Ball, it was so much fun. They really put a lot of work into it. They had meet and greets with different designers. They had what they called speed dating. You would have 5 minutes with, it would rotate having 5 minutes with other stitchers to talk about your whips and what have you. They would have stitching rooms that you could get into that were sort of organized by topic or interest. There was, like I said, meet and greets with the instructors that they had. I think they had 12 teachers teaching classes for the Jingle Ball, and it only cost $10 to join. So next year, I am going to really allot more time that weekend so that I can spend more time with the Jingle Ball. But here, let me show you my classes that I did. This class was the Blue Flower Festive Forest. So what really appealed to me about this was the shape of this. They were calling it a muffin. So it's flat on the bottom, and then the sides are domed. And Janine taught this class, Janine McGowan, and she finished hers. It's kind of hard to see it. She had some little red berries on the top. And so she finished hers like that. And she really challenged everyone to find something different to top theirs with. So this piece, I did not get a kit for, but I did download the PDF, and then I always say I harvest the supplies. I gathered the supplies to stitch it. So this one has all these woodland animals on it, and this is the shape. So when you do the finishing, these will all be connected and create that dome top. So I got this far with my stitching, but I did manage to get the whole outline done. So it's just fill in, and this is such a pleasant stitch. And this is stitched on 30, it called for 32 count cypress from Fiber on a Whim, but I got 36 count cypress that I'm stitching it on. So stay tuned. This will definitely be one of my projects that I pay a lot of attention to in 2025. These are the threads. There's some Cottage Garden threads, which I did not get, but I substituted the DMC, and then there's some Roxy Floss Co. threads that I did order, and then here's the DMCs that are in it too. Really fun stitch, and I'm really excited about completing that. Okay, the other class that I did at the Jingle Ball, which I know also was very popular, was the Gingerbread House Sewing Book from Stacy Nash. So this is just too adorable. There's the front of the book, and then here's the back of the book. And in the class, Stacy totally finished it all by hand, which is great. It's great for people that are not sewing machine sewers to finish their piece. And, you can still do it on a sewing machine if you want to. I will say that I will probably do mine on the sewing machine. So I did order the kit from Stacy Nash. I was one of the lucky ones that was able to get a kit. Boy, that was like racing to fill your cart on the day that you could sign up for the Jingle Ball if you were signing up for some of these classes. So the kit came with all the supplies. Here's the wool, the felted wool that was used. And then this is a lining fabric, which is also a pretty open weave linen. And then here's the linen that it was stitched on, which let me see what it is. Let me see if I can find it. It was Needle Bling Ween's Beans, and she offered it in 32 or 36 count. I selected 36 count, and then here's all the threads. Now this one, I knew that I was not going to get any of it stitched in time for the Jingle Ball, but I was really glad to have it, and I will get to it sometime in 2025. All right, I'll just plop this here for now. Cleaning up from these floss tubes is just like amazing. All right, the other thing that I'm working on, and again, I have started it. My friend Stacy told me about this. This was from Etsy, and it's the designer. It's called, you go to her shop, and it's called Living on the Rainbow. And you would sign up for it, and then periodically you're sent different pieces of the chart. So this makes a little Mrs.Claus's cookbook. And the front of the book is stitched on Aida. The front and back cover are stitched on Aida. And then the inside pages are stitched on Vintage Country Mocha 32 count. So several weeks ago, we were sent the cover part 1 and then the cover part 2. I don't have that all with me. Honestly, I have just a crazy tiny little start on this. I will show you an embarrassing start. My friend Stacy has totally stitched the cover, and now she's getting ready to dive into the pages of this cookbook, and it is just adorable. Like the recipes from Mrs.Claus are, you know, reindeer food, and well, we got I think it was reindeer food that we got recently. So hopefully this is another one that I can get to throughout the year, or maybe the Christmas season next year. But I did want to order this and download the pieces for it while it was available. I'm not sure if it's still available, but if you go to Living on the Rainbow on Etsy, another enabler alert, she has some amazingly clever designs, and they're like 3-dimensional things to stitch. And it's worth checking out. Very talented and creative designer. All right. Okay, so I have some new things that I would like to start, and I'll show you what those are. All right, I picked this up at Liberty Hill recently, and I'm not quite sure when I'm starting this, but it is a Teresa Kogut star quilt. This is all solidly stitched, and she did it on, let me see what fabric she stitched on. She stitched it on Weeks Dye Works Tin Roof. Since it's solidly stitched, you really can stitch it on anything, but I stitched it on Weeks Dye Works Confederate Gray, or now they're calling it gray, because I had a piece of that. So what I like about this project is I think it'll be a good project if you're trying to watch a movie, pay attention to a movie, or if you are, say, at a retreat situation where you need a lot of fill-in or something like that, that you don't make a lot of counting errors. So like I said, this is all solidly stitched. I just love the folk art look of this. I probably will not frame this. I will probably kind of just make it as a little mat that I can display other things on top of. I haven't decided yet, but that's okay. I haven't even put one stitch in yet. And these are the array of colors that are in it. Really nice. They're over-dyed threads, and then there's two DMC. So that's one of my coming up projects that I will do. Here's my linen. And that I selected 36 count. Okay, the other thing that I'm hoping to start really pretty soon is, here, I'll take it out of the sleeve, this blue coat Santa from Teresa Kogut. Now this is a 3-dimensional piece that she just cut out and sewed it into a little figure, and is anticipating having more Santas like this to fill a bowl. As she talked about a pink Santa, and but I just thought he was just adorable, and I have gotten together all the threads for it. It's mostly DMC. It's mostly DMC. Here, let me show you. There we go. It's mostly DMC, and then there's Classic Color Works and Weeks for the blue colors. So I can't wait to get started on him. You know, I've talked about this before. I don't stitch for the season necessarily. I stitch with the season. So it's not unusual for me to have a Christmas start on Christmas, knowing full well that it is not going to be completed for that Christmas, but it just adds to the festiveness of the holiday for me if I have, you know, a holiday themed new start. So I'm hoping to start him during the Christmas holidays this year, my blue coat Santa. Super cute. I just loved him, and he was sold at the Jingle Ball, and I believe it was not an exclusive. I believe she will be releasing this soon. All right, the other thing that I have ordered for my haul is this from Sassy Jacks. This is called Carolina Coverlet, and the money raised from this, a portion of it will be going to the hurricane victims in that area from last fall. And so this is Carolina Coverlet, and I ordered it in 36 count. I believe there was, you know, different counts you could order it. So this is the linen that came with it. And actually, this is stitched in different colors than were sent with the kit. But Kim said that she sent these fall colors that kind of mimic the fall colors that you have in North Carolina. I don't know yet whether I'm going to be stitching this with those colors or the called for colors, but I just received this in the mail the other day, so I can still decide. And then Kim, she also sent crinkling alert. Let's see here. Kim also sent a nice pin and button, mother of pearl button from Jackie Duplessis. And I believe that's a Kohana pin. You got your tapestry needle. And then you got, she's calling these Jack's bootstraps because they're getting picked up, the people are getting picked up by their bootstraps. And it came with a little ring for your flosses. So it was a worthy cause. I mean, there was such devastation in the area that I was really happy to order this to help out the situation, as far as any other, you know, as well as any other donations that have been made to help the area, because it was such devastation that they had. So that was that. Oh, and this was here, I'll tell you, this was from Summer House Stitch Works. And actually, on the Sassy Jacks website, there are a few stitched pieces that you can purchase that help the recovery effort there. So it's a worthy cause nonetheless. All right. So that's pretty much what I have. Oh, I have some more haul. I have to reach for it, so just hang tight. Here's one. Okay. I promise that I won't be the spoiler, but several months ago, Hobby House advertised for a red plaid box that they were going to be selling. It was a mystery box. Nicola Parkman from Hands Across the Sea was also involved with it, that you would get a chart or something from hats. So anyway, it's kind of funny. This sold out very quickly. I will not show the contents because some people are saving it for Christmas, but this is the red tartan box. Well, when this was advertised and the sign-up date for it I was traveling in Italy with my husband. So there was a certain time of the day that you were supposed to hop on the Hobby House website to purchase this, to pre-order it. So I did the time change and everything like that. And sure enough, I was in a convenience spot that evening. It was like 6:30 at night in Italy, but I was at a convenience spot and had decent internet connection that I could pre-order this box. Well, this box was very special for me to order because I love this tartan box and this same plaid my husband and I had in our wedding. All the attendants' flowers were tied with this same plaid ribbon. And then we also had like a table runner or table mat on our reception tables that were this red plaid. And the cloth napkins at our reception were this same red plaid. So this was really special to me to order. And we got married in November also. And then this box was due to be delivered in November. So it really worked out. I was so happy that I was able to hop on and, as a crazy stitcher, order this from Italy. So I won't show the contents because I know that people are saving this for Christmas. So if it's any bit of a spoiler, we did see some of this on the Hobby House picture when we ordered. So it's not too much of a spoiler, but it also arrived in a beautiful plaid box. And so if any of you have this under your tree to open on Christmas, just prepare to be delighted because the contents of this are lovely. The other thing that I have, and again, I won't open it to show you, although I have peeked. This was a mystery quilt box that Hobby House offered, and mine arrived the other day. Now, this was supposed to be, some stitching treats, quilting treats, and a small quilting project. Again, the contents of this are lovely, and if anybody has this tucked under their Christmas tree, again, be prepared to be very pleased. At least I was. But so this was really a nice box to get. And if I recall, it was, pretty reasonable for this, the price of that. All right. The other thing that arrived in the mail after, I know there's been a lot of conversation about it taking a while, but it was totally worth the wait. This was from the Homespun group on Facebook that Julie Kersave heads up. She offers exclusives many times throughout the year that you can pre-order. Everybody who orders will get it, but sometimes it takes a while. So this was an offering by Jeanette Douglas, and it was the Simple Gift Scissor Spool. And my kit finally arrived. I did order it quite a while ago, and it again did not disappoint. The spools that hold your scissors have all been handmade. And so what you will do is you will mount your stitched piece on this, roll it up much like I had with my little Advent band sampler. And this is just beautiful, just beautiful. I think by now everyone has gotten their kits. Mine did arrive a few weeks ago. But if you haven't, if you're not aware of I think it's Homespun Needlework group on Facebook, check it out and join if you can. Julie does a great job pairing designers with shops who then send out these exclusive kits to the individuals that order them. And there's no obligation to order. There's, some of them I just pick and choose. Some I buy and then other ones I pass on. So right now there's one offered that she's referring to as her BAP, her Big Awesome Project, that was offered earlier in the year. It was a needlework press chart. And that is now being offered, I think, until close to the end of the year. I'm not really sure. The project is huge, but it is exquisite. I've seen people that have finished it already from the last time that it was offered. So that's definitely worth checking out if you need some more enabling. But again, it's stitchers coming together, supporting each other, and just really enjoying the art that we all enjoy so much. All right, now looking ahead to 2025. Like I said, I may or may not do WhipGo next year? I probably will. One thing I did with my WhipGo, and that I will show you on my next video, is I rewarded myself. Now, there is a mixed bag of what people do about WhipGo. There's a Facebook page for WhipGo, and if I met my goal, that again, I set for myself. They said it's your board, your rules. So what I did for my WhipGo is that I had to put 10 hours of stitching into that piece each month. So I had 2 pieces, so that's 20 hours of stitching, on my, all together on my 2 WhipGo pieces. I made it kind of lenient so that I would have time to stitch other things as well. So some people reward themselves if they reach a WhipGo goal. Other people say, oh, you don't need a reward. Everybody doesn't need a trophy. The joy of stitching should be fine. Well, I'm human. I love rewards. So what I did is if I met my goal of 10 hours, I tucked in a little purse the amount of money reflected by that square on my WhipGo board. So if it was, say, square number 12 that I met the goal, I tucked away $12 into a little purse. If I finished the piece, I doubled it. I put in another amount of money, so that would have been another $12. Now, this is the bonus part. If I completely, fully finished the piece, or had it framed and it had it fully finished like that, I would just throw in a bonus 10. So, which is really kind of crazy because the money in our house is the money in our house, but it was a motivator for me and a way to reward myself with, yes, the ability to put more money towards a retreat or more stitching things in the future. So, I have a little purse where all my WhipGo things are. And like I said, I kind of fell short on my WhipGo goals towards the end of the year. There's still time to reach my December goals, hopefully. So in my next video in January, I am going to reach into that purse and count out how much money that I have gathered through my WhipGo success throughout the year for 2024. I really don't know how much is in there. It's just kind of in there. So I will count out my money the next time. So it's just kind of fun. Again, you don't have to set those kind of goals for yourself or rewards. You can do anything you want or no rewards at all, but that's just what I selected for myself. So the other thing that comes to mind in my goals for 2025 are this. Last year, I did a blessing sampler. There was a lot of talk on Facebook and Instagram about doing a blessing sampler. So what a blessing sampler is a sampler that you stitch, start and finish in January, and it is supposed to bring you blessings throughout the year. So last year, the sampler that I stitched was from Mama Loves You GB, and it was Do Not Be a Dunce. And I did complete that goal in January. And what great advice. Nobody wants to be a dunce. So I did that for January. So this year, my blessing sampler, I'm all ready for it. Oh, this is in a nice little project bag that my friend Sylvia from Running with Needles and Scissors made for me. And my sampler for January will be Little House Needleworks, 13 Colonies. So I just love this. Living in Virginia, I do live in one of the 13 colonies. And I just thought this would be a fun way to start my year by stitching on this sampler. So I have it all ready to go. I'm using Seraphim 36 count antique lace linen. And then, oh, sorry. The threads are Classic Colorworks, some weeks, and some always beautiful and reliable. Here's another classic Colorworks DMC. So stay tuned. This is my blessing sampler for this year, for 2025. And check it out. I think there's a blessing sampler tab on both Instagram and Facebook. And it's just a fun way, again, to join with other stitchers, to start your new year. And who doesn't need blessings? We all need good blessings and good things to get us started in the new year. So this will be my blessing sampler, so stay tuned on that. The other thing that just arrived in the mail today to help with my organization for the year is my Needlework Enthusiast Book of Days. I pre-ordered this this is a book that Needlework Press comes out with every year. I pre-ordered this quite a while ago from Colorado Cross Stitcher, and what they do is they enhance the book by spiral binding it and then adding extra pages. So you have your calendar here to record your stitching progress, but then she also adds extra pages in the back to write notes, to attach cards, to attach business cards from stitch shops you might go to. It just makes it a nice way to record your stitching for the year and to keep track of all the things you do. This is how I kept track of my finishes and my fully finishes and all those projects that I stitched in 2024. All right, friends, that pretty much wraps up what I have for you today. Here in a second, I will give you the keywords for my giveaway, and I will announce the winners in my next floss tube, which will be in January. So again, this is the Blackbird design book, and then the little extras that I put in with it. So the keyword that you need to comment if you would like to win this is love. This is for Thy Love More Strong book. So make your comment. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment. So add the word comment to be entered to win this one. And then for this beautiful project bag by Nana K, use the word project. So I will pick winners in January. Both are lovely, lovely prizes. Thank you, my friends, for watching. Please, please have the most wonderful holiday. I know some people have a sadness at the holiday. I myself has experienced that. And if that is the case, just be very gentle on yourself. Make sure you just do what you have to do to get through, because it's only a few days and you can do it. Hopefully you will just wrap yourself in your stitching if that's the case and just make it through. But whatever you can do, just take time for your stitches. So until we meet again, I hope you all find calm, joy, and relaxation in your stitches. Bye-bye for now. Love you, my friends, and wishing you a wonderful, wonderful holiday season. See you in the new year. Bye-bye.